What up, my friends? 4-0 yesterday on the top four picks, 7-1 on the overall expanded save picks list. Got more picks for you. 2-game slate. Still time to bet. Still things to place our money on. We got to get our sweat in, so let's go. It's a 7-1 save picks list. Let's take a look at that. Posted on Twitter right there. Going to show you full screen. Then we're going to make some picks. I actually have one for Fliff. I have some prize picks. I'm going to hook you guys up. So I'm using the mysparry.com optimizer. And yes, we're going to look at NBA today. Absolutely. Actually, NFL for a hot minute as well. I'm going to saved picks. I'm clicking NBA and check it out. I told you this yesterday, my friends. Use this to recap how your research went, how your favorite cappers did, so on and so forth. And you'll see Giannis last night. I believe he had 8 assists. He hit the over. Julius Randle had 4 assists. Chris Middleton hit the over PRA. Kyrie Irving crushed the over points and assists. OG only miss, and this was only on PrizePicks, not sportsbooks, and that's why he wasn't in the top 4 plays of the day, and I didn't research him or analyze him in yesterday's video. Pascal Siakam under 35.5. We got a little foul trouble that helped us out. Paul George hit the over easily in points. Scotty Barnes finished with 2 threes. We hit the over on Sleeper and on DK. So a nice 7-1 day. I am going to show you real quick. Going to remove the picks so that we don't have to track these anymore. And onward we go. We're going to move along. So picks-wise, we're going to talk about Victor Wembanyama today. I'm going to be looking at his rebounds. We're going to talk about why I like the under at 9.5 on sportsbooks and what I'm thinking about doing here for rebounds, because I actually have an interesting angle. So stay tuned today. It's going to be real important. I'm going to start you off with that Fliff parlay I had mentioned. So Klay Thompson, we have some really interesting data on this one. And Jokic has had a double-double in over 80% of his games this year. I believe it's 86% of his games. And I don't have my notes in front of me, but that's what I had written down earlier this morning. Klay Thompson, over 4.5 rebounds and assists, has hit in almost 90% of the games without Draymond Green when he plays 25-plus minutes. So we've had a few borderline games where he's played like 24, 23. He's also hit the over a few times just at 25. Essentially, we just need a good game, competitive game, slightly competitive game, just not a blowout. As long as we don't have a blowout, he's been smashed the over. I believe it was like at 25 plus minutes, it was over in 14 of 17 games without Draymond Green this season. And even last year, games without Dre at 25 plus, he's continuously smashed the over. Now, the matchup against Denver, not the greatest, but we also have some data here with Draymond being out. Kevon Looney's getting fewer minutes, although I think he plays a few more tonight to try to match the size of Jokic. I think he's got the over. I think he's going to play more minutes, and I think this is going to be a competitive game. It is in Golden State tonight. I believe it's a 2.5-point spread, healthy 234.5 point total, something like that. I'm taking the over 4.5. This is a parlay specifically for Fliff because you cannot get the line for Klay on any other sports book stateside that I was looking at this morning other than ESPN Bet, which not everybody has access to. So 40-ish states can use Fliff. This is the parlay I built for Fliff users. Now, if you're like, well, what are you doing on sportsbooks? My top play of the day, I'm leaving in Discord. It is what it is. That's how it worked. 4-0 yesterday here in the top picks. My top pick of the day is actually going to stay in Discord today. I can't give them all away every single day on YouTube and Twitter, but here we go. Let's start off with that Fliffer Nutter, and then let's go over to PrizePicks. So Victor Wembanyama, he has played 26 minutes or fewer in 5 straight games, and we have seen the rebound suffer. Matchup against Milwaukee isn't the worst, but it also isn't the best. Over the last 2 weeks of NBA season, we have seen the Bucks hold opposing centers to the 7th least rebounds per game. So, they are being a little bit tougher against opposing centers specifically. I think a lot of that has to do with the way they play and the guys they have on their team and how they can extend to the 3-point line. So I do not entirely mind taking the under 8.5 for Victor Wembanyama. You're going to get that at plus odds right now, I believe. Let's go over to the optimizer. I want to look them up and see what is actually. Let me refresh this. It's been a hot minute since I refreshed the page, and I'm going to go to NBA. Let me go to Victor, and I want to just see what his odds are for rebounds, and we'll look at 8.5. If it's moved to 9.5, I'm absolutely slamming the under. So we do get plus odds at 8.5. I will say, I think, listen, if you're going to play it, make sure you're getting really good odds. I don't mind. I do not mind the under 8.5 at plus 110. I'm not ready to make it official. I just not. I personally, I just do not want to bet on this Bucks and Spurs game. I mean, it's tough. Popovich, the coach for the Spurs a week ago, just on December 29th, and literally 1 week ago, said that he's going to continue to sit out for back-to-backs, and they're going to keep him on a minutes restriction as they're going to be cautious with his ankle injury. Now, this is the tough part. Are we going to get popped, right? As soon as we take an under on Victor Wembanyama, Pop's going to go out there and do what he's done for the last 20 years of the NBA, and he's just not going to tell everybody the truth of what's happening. He's been on a minutes restriction. He's slowly ramped up. It's like 23, 24, 25, 26 minutes. All of a sudden tonight, does he play 32 and he gets 14 rebounds? Could absolutely happen. And that's the problem with this 8.5 line. I just don't like it. If it were a 9.5, like minus 120 to the under, minus 130 to the under, I would drink that juice a little bit. I'd be okay with it. But at 8.5 plus odds, maybe you're sprinkling, quarter unit, half unit on it. It's tough. I think Pop is going to pop, and he can pop us at any given moment. But I will say, if you're looking for just something over there on PrizePicks, this is probably one of my favorite plays to play over there. Another one I do like today, and I wish it were at 22.5. I think it's going to move in that direction. So if you want to stay and wait, and here's my angle. Listen, this is super important. I have no official PrizePicks plays this morning. I just don't. It's a 2-game slate. And we have the Bucks and Spurs in the one game, which is just I don't want to gamble on it. And then in the Nuggets game, we just don't have a lot of options up on the board. Some of my favorite props are not on the board right now. The Clay prop and my top pick of the day inside Discord is also not available on PrizePicks yet. So we'll have to stay tuned. Now, if you're looking for a PrizePicks angle, 2 things are going to happen today. If the markets continue to hit the over 8.5 rebounds for Victor, he's going to move to a 9.0 on PrizePicks. If Jokic continues to have the money come in on the over for the 21.5 rebounds and assists, that line potentially moves to 22. I like the under for both. So if this moves to 9.0, take the under. If this moves to 22.0, take the under. But at this point in time in the morning, I'm not touching either. I'm just being honest. I'm not touching either. It is a small 2-game slate. I am not going to dabble. I'm not going to mess around. I'm just going to show you some shopping, and I'm going to let you guys do what you do best. Use the optimizer here. Make your picks. Let's talk some NFL here at the end of the video as well. I don't want to spin your tires too long. All right, my friends, let's do some line shopping. We're going to look at NBA. I just want to give you some value. There's not a ton out there right now. 250 entries. Column visibility, removing date and matchup just to make the screen a little bit bigger for you so you can see it on the stream. But, by all means, leave those in there if you're using it on your own side. Select Pick'em site. You can leave it on all if you'd like. Select implied probability, highest to lowest. If you leave it on all, you'll be able to compare all the sports books together. You will have to scroll down a little bit until you find some of those numbers. Then they pop up. And here's one. And you can kind of see when the best plays are here. And wow, okay. So you got rebounds and assists on underdog over 8.5. It's the only place that's available DFS apps wise. 59.28% implied probability he hits the over based on the odds on MGM, FanDuel, DK, and Flip. And that's one of my favorite ways to use it is you just scroll and you can see, look, all the other numbers around here, the implied probabilities, they don't even show up on the DFS apps. They just don't. And if they do, they're bumped. They're round numbers like this. So when you find one this high in the 59th percentile, it's usually a pretty darn good play. So underdog right there. And then you keep on scrolling down. Math says Curry over 3.5 rebounds based on the math. Available on underdog and sleeper, so on and so forth. Here's another Vassal play. There's your 2-pick power if you need one for underdog. And then Klay Thompson, under half a steal, 4 sports books, back it up. Jamal Murray, so on and so forth. You can do that. Now, we can also just select individual sites. Like maybe you're like, oh, Mitch, I just want to play sleeper today. Okay, just look at sleeper only. There you go. You can put together your sleeper lists just based on the math alone. Here's PrizePicks. And again, top play on the board based on the math. It's going to be Klay. His steals under half a steal. Let me go look at the data for you real fast and see if this is a data backed up play. And on the season, he is under in 56% of the games. For whatever it's worth at home over the last 2 years, he has averaged fewer steals per game, which is interesting. Against Denver, he's played them twice this season. He had 1 steal in both games. For what that's worth, and you do take away what you can with that info. I can't invest on something like this, but listen, if you're just grasping for straws, I get it. There's not much out there. Y'all need to be very careful today. I'm not going to be somebody who's going to force in picks just for the clicks. I'm just not going to do it. I want to make sure you guys win money or at least take value away from these videos more than anything. So pass. I just don't want it. If you've ever had a reason to try other DFS apps, it's days like this when you don't have many options for multiple sports. So I'll tell you this right now, at the top of the tool where you see the logos, my friends, anytime you click these logos, it's going to give you a $100 deposit match on those websites. So if you want to try PrizePicks, Underdog, Parlay Play, or Sleeper, you just click the logo. It'll kick it over. You can see on Sleeper, there are a few other plays that are in play at 58%. It's almost a 59% implied probability, 57.87. There's the field goal kicks coming back up. The field goal makes just not a ton of value. I'm not going to force it. Again, I'm not forcing picks for clicks, baby. Just want to make sure I did a little research for you. Again, that flip parlay to start off the video, a big W incoming. I really feel it in my bones. I like that one a lot. Got the other my official top pick, top play of the day inside Discord today. We'll say it's a Steph Curry player prop if that helps you at all. And then hopefully some of the research here has helped you. The Wembanyama and Jokic angles to watch for, if the rebounds and assists moves to 22 and a half, I like the under. Wembanyama, if it moves to 9 and a half, I like the under there as well. Best of luck. Please be careful. Listen, 4-0 sweep yesterday. Y'all feel good about it. 7-1 on my saved picks. I'm sure some of you are a little bit richer today. Bankrolls flush, pockets deep. But here's the thing. Don't give it back. Sometimes the best thing to do with all that money is not use it. Save it for tomorrow. Friday might be a better day to gamble. It is what it is. I'm probably shooting myself in the foot as a businessman here saying something like that, but I'm not in the business of fleecing people just for myself. Be careful, be smart, be mindful. Maybe the sharpest play is just not to waste it. All right. Maybe a little sprinkle just to scratch the itch, a big single game parlay, something like that, a dart, maybe a triple double on Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets win the game. That's like a player performance plus 220 or something. A little sprinkle on something like that. Or Steph Curry, 40 points, and the Warriors win plus 680 on FanDuel Sportsbook. Things like that, I think, are probably fun little sprinkles to sweat. But outside of those types of bets, pass. All right, good luck today. And Friday, Flex Friday. You better believe I'm going to have a nice, big Flex Friday slip, and we're going to make some money together. Come back tomorrow. I'll see you then.